This video is going to be about 5 habits that I believe will help anyone get to $10 million per year or above. I am constantly surrounded by business owners doing 10 million to 100 million, both in my social circle as well as in my consulting program. And many of them have quite a few of these habits in common. These are the 5 habits that I think everybody should put into their life right now, and you're going to see a noticeable difference with before and after. Should be noted that all of these habits are going to be to build and support operating a full lead generation funnel, giving you the time and the energy and the systems needed to do so. And this is the funnel that I teach inside Lead Generation Academy. If you're interested in that, you can click the link in the bio. The first one is they work very, very, very hard. A lot of people kind of shit on hard work, or they say you need to focus on higher leverage things or work smarter, not harder. Sure, that would be nice, but you're not going to get anywhere without working a lot of hours, especially at the start. Focusing on higher leverage stuff is for people who are already succeeding, but when you get it off the ground, you have to overcome inertia and really get it going. And the problem is that most people can't seem to focus on much of anything, and that's obviously a bad thing because you need to not only work a lot of hours, but you need to be productive and actually get outputs, put inputs in and get outputs out, or else you're not really doing anything. And by far, the number one thing that I've ever discovered to help me focus is the concept of working in 60-minute blocks using an actual timer on my desk. Then, after those 60-minute periods, I submit a work form based on what I did. And that work form through automation is sent to all my friends, business partners, family, that kind of stuff. There's about 20 people on my work form. And it sends them an email and a text notification telling them that I completed work as a form of accountability and to, in case of my family and relationships, okay, this guy's grinding. Good. I'm confident in that. It really takes up a notch when they actually start sending you their work forms back because you want to compete with each other. It just reminds you that you should be working and all that kind of stuff. And it's great if you can get a group of 4 people or so together plus yourself and send it back and forth. I do this with probably 4 of my best friends, and it really is the number one form of motivation, and it's free, in my opinion. So I do the physical timer on my desk. Then I submit a Google form that works like this, the date and hour. So October 1st, hour 1. What I did, my top 5 goals. So I'm constantly writing down my goals. And then I reaffirm my standard of doing 10 of these per day. So I'm getting a lot of work done. I'm tracking exactly what I'm doing. I'm reaffirming my goals all the time and I'm reaffirming my standards. And you can kind of see it in the mailbox there. The next is a lot of people will stack 1% improvements every day. And of course, we've all read Atomic Habits at this point, probably, or we've all heard about Kaizen or the 1% better every day method, or I don't know what you would call it, whatever, you know what I mean? And this is a very, very good thing. Make sure you and or your team or a combination of both get 1% improvements per day, specifically on your marketing funnel, but business wide too. Huge business gains happen through big breakthroughs, but also from small wins compounded over time. And of course, it's hard to just get a breakthrough. It's not something that you can do on your to-do list. It's great when they happen. That's what really, doubles your business overnight type thing, but not really something we can just do on a whim. But we can look for tiny 1% improvements and spend 1 hour per day optimizing and implementing them. The thing you want to keep in mind is kind of these tiny improvements unlock the opportunity to have big breakthroughs where you might not be able to have a breakthrough if you didn't have those 1% improvements stacking on each other over and over and over the course of a week or a month. The third one is planning out the day the night before. I think one of my top 5 favorite quotes is the fool with a plan is better off than the genius without one. I think it's just so true. And without a plan, you're not getting anywhere in business or in life. So I actually go and plan out my entire week on Sundays, including my daily habits. Those are the same every day. And then I choose 5 things or 5 big tasks that I want to accomplish every day, and then the chores. This is the stuff that I'm working on when I do my 10 work forms per day. And I really think you got to do it the night before or even on Sunday for the whole week, because the last thing you want to do is wake up, not know what to do, and you're just kind of screwed. Or you don't like it. Just, we need to have absolute clarity before we start our day. And this is what I like to do. The fourth is to make a YouTube podcast and newsletter daily. because a lot of people generate a large amount of traffic through ads, cold email content, you name it, but they don't really have the trust or authority to convert those people into clients. They just kind of stop or get stuck in their top or middle or maybe even the bottom of funnel, but they just don't take the leap. By far, the three most effective ways to convert leads into clients are YouTube, podcasts, and newsletters, and just any form of long form content. That is because in these, you're kind of optimizing for what we'll call time spent with you. Even if this time spent is or what is it called? Parasocial? I don't know. I'll just call it one-sided or virtual. The more time that someone spends with you, obviously, the more they trust you. It's just how it works. And I like to make all of these three things every day, even if I don't post all of them, to ensure that I produce enough volume and have them scheduled out into the future in case I have to take a break or something. But I also do this amount of volume for rapid improvement through number of reps. And I try to make one or each one 10% better than the last. I don't always get there. It's kind of subjective in a lot of views, but I do watch back my old videos and try to, okay, I didn't do it right there. I need to talk properly this time. Or I didn't really like the hook of my newsletter. Or I don't really like how much I interrupted someone in a podcast or something like that. And the fifth thing is kind of an under the radar thing. I haven't really heard people talk about it, but it's talking about your culture and standards daily, almost to the point where you want to be annoying. Culture and standards are what makes a great organization in business or otherwise. Yet I've rarely seen any company that has a clear culture and standards. And even if they do, they don't really talk about it often or definitely don't enforce it in any way. One of the best habits that I've done and come across is at the start and end of every day, I have a form similar to the work form that all my team members, including me, fill out, repeating the core pieces of our culture. And we do that over and over and over and over, just to kind of repetition is extremely important. I also frequently build or bring up the culture and standards I have at my company during both individually to the people if they're not doing the right thing, as well as in our morning team calls. People love clear expectations and standards, and who wouldn't want to be part of a winning culture? They don't really get annoyed when you constantly bring it up. It actually does the opposite. It energizes and motivates them and makes them kind of secure that they made the right decision in working for you. So these 5 things are really the 5 things that if I only had to choose 5 habits to get to $10 million per year, I would recommend everybody do these 5 things. All of them are kind of focused on lead generation. They don't have to be. You can spend your time and your improvements doing something else. But to get to 10 million, we need to have that great service and we need to have enough leads. And of course, I make videos about lead generation on this channel. So I hope this is valuable and I'll see you in the next one.